Just start singing.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to what is the season finale. Why? Why? Of Xmas Your Enthusiasm. This is the end of season 3. Pat yourself on the back. You did it. We still got this one to get through. Who the fuck knows? Today we will be talking about season 3, episode 4, episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, The Nanny from Hell. Debuted October 6, 2002. I don't know why the fuck I tell you people this. I can't remember if it was a great episode or not necessarily, but let's give a shout out to the always wonderful and where is she, Sherry O'Terry. Easily one of my favorite all-time cast members of Saturday Night Live. And I don't know, I feel like maybe she just doesn't want to do shit. I don't know, that's her business. But I love you, Sherry O'Terry. Let's get you back out here. Come on, she was great in this. Again, she was my favorite part of that. Will Ferrell's on Mount Rushmore too, but so good. So, The Nanny from Hell is how we're wrapping up this season. I don't know about y'all, but my absolute number one favorite part of this season was easily the Theodore, couple episodes ago, Theodore, the Republican stuffed bear, auditioning to be play-by-play for the New York Yankees. That is easily my favorite part of this whole fucking thing so far. All right, so anyway, and also don't forget this season is dedicated to Malcolm Jamal Warner and Danielle Spencer, Theo Huxtable, and Dee Thomas, of course, from The Cosby Show and What's Happening. And also, this season is brought to you, and this is for the last time until I see some real numbers from these people. Xmas Your Enthusiasm is brought to you by Pepsi Cola. Pepsi Cola, just fucking drink it. As we wrap up this season, now that we're heading into fall, my Panera Sip Club numbers, my points are they're over 1,000 in savings, 1,058. Now, like I said last time, now that summer's over, I don't think I'm going to be, bopping around, jet setting around the country as much, or, such it is. So I'm looking to really tuck in this fall and just buzz through at least another $1,000 in savings. Luckily for y'all, I will be dragging you people through it with me. I want to talk about real quick about the paper. This is The Office, quote unquote reboot or sequel, whatever you want to call it. Of course, like everybody else who loves The Office, I've been kind of dreading it, not dreading it. I don't know why. Anyway, so they did surprise us. They dropped all 10 episodes at once. Okay. I've watched the first 3. I don't know. It's like, of course I'm going to keep watching it because it's easy. There's 2 or 3 genuine laughs each episode. And of course we're all, with this whole Greg Daniels, I don't think Mike Schur is attached to this, but they have this history now that even they talk about where the whole first season is just kind of terrible. The Office was mostly terrible first season, Parks and Rec, and then it's like the second season was when they start. So half of it is like, well, I guess if I stick through this first season, if I make it, then it's going to become amazing. I don't know, but it is also, I don't want to say misleading, but number one, it's way more like Parks and Rec than The Office, because the main guy. Although the difference is, unlike Michael Scott and Leslie Knope, I don't know if I like this guy. Like, as ridiculous as Michael was, you kind of knew that, there was a likability to, and I don't know if I misread this or whatever, but part of this guy's thing is, he comes from money. And so to him, this is kind of like a little passion project. So it's kind of like, well, of course, then he can just big ideas and the passion of, the old media, whatever. Yeah, of course, if you're a rich fuck, you can just sit around and pretend jobs. I had a job once like that, and when I quote unquote worked in real estate, worked for someone who kind of didn't need the money, so it was just like pretend office, which I didn't realize until it was kind of, not too late. That's fucking dramatic. I mean, she didn't lock me up in the basement, not for free. And but I don't know if I like this guy. He just seems a bit ridiculous, and of course, he's the first one who's ever thought of anything. Why don't we take a picture of a person from the town? And everybody's, what the? So yeah, I don't know. And plus, I think it's going to be a lot of. He just wins everybody over because he only believes in the best of everybody. I think there's going to be a lot of that. I do want to give a shout out to my girl from the White Lotus, the Italian lady, who she was incredible in the White Lotus. That character of hers was just heartbreaking because she was in love with that one girl and couldn't have her. I don't remember how it ended, but she was incredible. And in this, I have to say, so far she's been my favorite part. Because when she talks about how rocking her body is, she is not lying. But also she's just flat out hilarious. Now, she's also seems to be on an entirely different show. Like her character is just a lunatic, which is great to watch. But you're like, how could she even exist in this world? How does she even have a job? Anyway, yeah, I really don't understand how. There's a British guy, is it Tim Key or Tim Pool? Who I know from Alan Partridge and Taskmaster, and after 3 episodes, I kind of don't even know what his role is. What is? Anyway, but I'll tell you what actually. And also in line with the whole Greg Daniels thing, and the actor or the character that they're trying to kind of tell us is Michael Scott, because also it's a huge cast, and also of course we're all in the beginning we're all trying to match up which character is Dwight, which character is Jim, which yada yada. But I think I don't know, in my opinion, maybe the show's going to be a huge hit. I'm sure it will be. I mean, they already renewed for the second season. I'm here fucking yapping about it. But I think they wildly overestimated how much we give a shit about the template of the show in terms of the setting or even the format. I think all we care about are the characters at this point. We don't give a shit. Oh, it has to be a paper company. Oh, it has to be an office setting. It has to be, yada, yada, yada. I'd much rather see the Michael Dwight origin story. What was their first meeting like? What was their, anything with those characters? So we'll see. But the thing that really bugs the fuck out of me is the look of it. One great thing about The Office was, and a lot of, the secret, not the secret, but key to a lot of great sitcoms that we love to wrap ourselves in and feel cozy and good about, is the look of it has a warmth. The set itself has, and even the film, has a warmth to it and a comforting set and a coziness to it. I'm trying to not say the word cozy. I don't know why. I think you people think I'm out on the range when I'm not doing this, wrestling horses with my bare hands. But this, it's just washed out, gray, just totally depressing to look at. I don't understand why they did that. It's like when you look at Michael Scott in the first season of The Office, he looks ridiculous. The hair's slicked back and greasy, and I don't know. Do I say greasy or greasy? I usually say greasy. I don't know why I say greasy. Tom Greasy. Bob Greasy. Why did I say Tom? Who the fuck's Tom Greasy? The look of it is terrible. It's just whitewashed, pale. If there's any colors, it's like dark teal, if that's even a thing. The look of it feels like when you got sent to bed as a kid before the sun went down. You know what I'm saying? Very depressing. Very surprising, because one of them, I didn't want to say myriad things. One of the many things that we do love about The Office is that warm setting, which they just don't have here. All right, enough bitching about that. Like I said, I'm sure I'll keep watching it, but, maybe next season 4 of Express Your Enthusiasm. If I give it to you people, spoiler alert, I just renewed myself. You're getting a 4th season. And, I'm sure I'll bitch about it as I finish out the season. You people will get to hear it, so brace yourself. One thing I do want to talk about, positive, and I'm going to talk as I walk over to where I left it, like an idiot before I hit record, is an episode or two ago, I mentioned that one of my all-time comedy influences, or just flat out influences, to be honest, is of course Neil Simon. Those early run of plays he had in the late '60s to early '70s, "Come Blow Your Horn," "Plaza Suite," "The Odd Couple," "Barefoot in the Park," and obviously my favorite of favorites, "The Star Spangled Girl." And so I was flooded with letters about, well, what are some of your other comedy influences, Xmastime? Because you're a genius. So and I just happened right before recording. I found an old friend of mine, Woody Allen's "Without Feathers" book, which was like an anthology of articles he had put in the Atlantic, just funny stuff. Some longer form, a lot short form, one or two long plays. But I've had this since high school, and I know we're not supposed to like Woody Allen, and I'm giving myself a pass because I'm not a Woody Allen fan in the way that most people are, and that I guess I liked Manhattan. I don't know if I've even sat through Annie Hall. I've seen some of his movies and they're fine or whatever, but I wouldn't call myself a Woody Allen fan. But since I've found this book back in the day, I have worn this thing out. I've ripped this thing off over the years so many times. This and my collected plays of Neil Simon are definitely my twin Bibles, or Bible duets I've carried with me. And so I thought it'd be cool if maybe I just read a passage or two that I've always liked from "Without Feathers." I mean, maybe my favorite of all time is his short story or whatever, "The Whore of Mensa," which is, you call up a prostitute, but instead of sex, she'll talk literature with you. And if she comes up and she starts, "I think we could start by approaching Billy Budd as Melville's justification of the ways of God to man. Interesting, though, not in a Miltonian sense. I was bluffing. I wanted to see if she'd go for it." "Paradise Lost lacked the substructure of pessimism." Right. God, you're right, I murmured. I've stolen that rhythm there, that you say something and then it's repeated and you go, "God, you're so right." Another one of my favorites is he has "fabulous tales and mythical beasts, one of which is the wheel." And I think I've ripped this off 100 times over the years. "The wheel," WEAL, "a large white mouse with the lyrics to 'Am I Blue' printed on its stomach." The wheel is unique amongst rodents in that it can be picked up and played like an accordion. Similar to the wheels of the Lunet, a small squirrel that can whistle and knows the mayor of Detroit personally. Oh, I mean, there's a whole back and forth. Van Gogh and his brother Theo, they were dentists, but it's all passion and fire. But you have to, if you want to understand me, and I'm gonna let that hang there. No, but I'm just "Without Feathers." Now I know Woody Allen is whatever, Cosby, but I feel like you get a little loophole because we're not talking about the movies. And this, I mean, the latest thing published here looks like 1975. So, but I would say my absolute number one thing I have, I keep saying ripped off, or an homage, but he just has these little snippets. Like, this is probably the number one thing I've gone back to over the years. "A day in the life of a doe. Unbearably lovely music is heard as the curtain rises, and we see the woods on a summer afternoon. A fawn dances on and nibbles slowly at some leaves. He drifts lazily through the soft foliage. Soon he starts coughing and drops dead." That's just, when I was in high school, it was a guaranteed stomach, just gasping for air laugh. When with my buddy Will Akery, who was my favorite audience. I mean, just, you have those small number of people in your life where just somehow when they show up in your field of vision, everything you say is hilarious. And he was the first one of those for me. One of my all-time favorite ones. The fuck was I talking? Oh, I used to do this thing just like this exact same rhythm as that, where we'd be at the table eating lunch or whatever, and I would just cough, then slightly, jerk my head a little bit like you do at your coughing. This is if I know he's looking. I go, and then boom, slam my head on the floor. Boom, slam my head on the table, dead. And boom, he's on the floor, howling. And I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing I have this Woody Allen bit about the dough to thank for that. Well, before we get into the actual episode, I do have a movie idea. I'm looking for investors. You know, those training videos you have to look at for work that every year they get a little more dramatic and more well produced, and there's real actors trying to like be discovered. I want to do a series, Netflix series, whatever, like the crew that does that. But instead of like the old like where artists going up against the man or this and that, they're all just the most earnest, insane. Like to them, they're doing Citizen Kane every time they do one of these things. Just over the top, dramatic at all times. And of course, the coup de grace will be awards, whatever that we call the award show. Just fucking cutthroat. I think it's brilliant. We all, you're watching those videos and the way they're getting to be a little more ridiculous in their production values now. It's like with baseball, every year, every season, they feel like they have to add one more stat for you to look at. Instead of just saying, yeah, we can run last year's video, everything holds up, legal-wise, whatever. It's like we have to do one more. We have to up it every time. We have to up it. So I want to create a Netflix series of watching, how these things are put together. Is it competitive? Just this craziness that must go on. Anyway, looking for investors for that. Anyway, all right, let's get started. Final episode of Xmas Your Enthusiasm Season 3, which has been brought to you by Pepsi Cola. Pepsi Cola, just fucking drink it. The Nanny from Hell. Quick note, though, and of course I'm not going to do the actual research, but I feel like this season we've had a lot of these Season 3 episodes, which is great because I love it. But it's sad. I feel like even after 3 seasons, we haven't done a lot of like 10 through 12 season episodes, which is a little strange. But great when those all come batch together and they're like fucking 50-minute episodes. Good luck, y'all. Anyway, oh damn it! In all my excitement to wrap up this season 3 to deliver to you people, you're welcome. I forgot to give the season score so far. Larry, his record so far, with 1 episode to go for the season, is 58-45. So unless he really takes a fucking dive this episode, he's going to finish above 500 again. Not too shabby, Larry. Oh, and I forgot to give you the wrap-up from IMDb. So The Nanny from Hell, a restaurant investor has a pool party, but only Larry and Jeff show. Larry uses the house toilet and gets the nanny fired. House toilet, that just sounds funny. I don't know. Larry suggests her to Jeff and Susie. She snaps, and Susie's life is threatened. Lewis wants in a quotation book. Okay, that's not even... I don't want to be grammar Nazi here. Lewis wants in a quotation book. I know what they're saying there, but I wouldn't have left that sitting there looking like that. Just looks stupid. Anyway, all right, so far we're a couple minutes in, and Jeff has told Larry, he's going to the pool party, and he's bringing Susie because secret, they're back together, and she's pregnant. Even when watching the show in sequence, I never could keep track during this period when they were separated and not separated. I don't know. Could never fucking tell, so who gives a shit? They're back together, and she's pregnant, so all that's going to be important going on. So, all right, I think that's all the fucking housework bullshit I got to do for you people. So, one more. This season of Xmas Your Enthusiasm has been brought to you by Pepsi Cola. Pepsi Cola. Just fucking drink it. Oh, and one more thing. And I know I'm being ridiculous here, but it's the last episode. So Larry and Jeff just had this funny little conversation where they both talk about how much... They're joking, but being married to a woman is misery. You should hate... Everybody hates it. Just once, can we have 2 TV characters talk about how crazy, awesome marriage is? I mean, I've never been married, so obviously I don't know. And I know nothing is like that, but just once can we flip the script and just, like, out there in the world somewhere, some husband must be saying something nice, not just about his wife, but about his marriage. That person must exist. If not, let's fucking invent him, put him in my fucking workplace harassment videos cast, and let's really print some fucking money. All right, back to the show. All right, the first ruckus is for this pool party, Larry and Cheryl go to this favorite bakery of theirs that's going out of business, so they're sad about that. And Larry wants to order a sponge cake, And Cheryl's like, no, we should get this. And it's this other, I don't know, cherry iced cake or whatever, icing cake, whatever. Now, I'm going to rule against Larry. They're both wrong. Because you're going to a pool party. Number one is a pool party. It's some Hollywood producer. So no, it's going to be fucking catered or whatever. And, like, who brings a cake to a pool party? Is that weird? Like, if you did bring anything, wouldn't you, like, bring chips or something in a bag? Like, I don't know. Showing up with a cake just seems weird. Especially since, again, these are rich motherfuckers. There's going to be cake. But Cheryl is right in that if you are going to bring a cake, who wants to bring fucking plain-ass, broke-dick sponge cake? Nothing on it. No icing. No chocolate. No nothing. Like, wow, gather around, kids. Santa Larry's here with the fucking sponge cake. Larry starts out 0-1. I don't know. If he goes on a slump here, he could catch up for the season. But right now he's 0-1. Okay, so now we're at the pool party, and Jeff has a big hunk of this sponge cake, and he's eating it, and he's like, "Oh my God, this is incredible. You're the hero of the party, Larry." And Larry's like, "Right?" And it's like he's just holding it with his hands. Like, there's no plate, no plastic fork. Is this how rich people eat cake? Because I gotta say, I'm kind of not joking. Because whenever I've eaten fish and chips, I use a fork. But anytime I've eaten fish and chips with someone who has a little bit of money, not money, but upbringing. If they come from a certain type of, blue blood-esque, they will pick up the fish with their hands. No problem. They don't care. Just boom. So, is this how rich motherfuckers eat cake? Just with their mitts? Anyway, it's ridiculous. Jeff, go get a real piece of fucking cake. Okay, now Larry tells, Jeff is like, this is incredible. What bakery is it? And Larry's like, it's going out of business. And Jeff's like, well, what was the name of it? And Larry's like, it doesn't matter. It's moot. So now, I guess because they thought it was cute to do this, it's not moot. It is moot. Moot's moot. Moot. And it's just stupid. And all this, during this comedy genius back and forth, you could have just said the fucking name. Larry looked like a fucking... It's 0-2 for Larry here so far. Okay, so now what sets a lot of this episode in motion, Larry's got to take a piss. He tries to get into the house. Sherry O'Terry is working, and she's there to keep people from going inside to this Hollywood mansion bathroom. And she's like, you got to use the cabana bathroom. And Larry argues, and he goes into the house to use the bathroom. Again, Larry David with this bathroom. Now, I haven't seen this cabana bathroom, but I'm sure it's not the porta potty outside of the dump behind Domino's. Larry with these bathrooms. I don't know what he thinks happens. Like, the second he walks into the public bathroom, the Channel 4 news shows up. Oh, everybody's got to see your shriveled up old dick. I don't understand what's happening here. He always does this. I'm sure this cabana is nicer than 90% of bathrooms in America. Just go piss. You're a fucking 60-year-old man or whatever. This shit drives me nuts with him. 0-3. And I'm sorry, I got to continue. I'm not even saying this like everyone else is bitching. He feels entitled. He's too good for this or that. No, he just looks like a fucking child when he does this. The fuck? Okay, now this is going to be a thing later, but at the pool, Larry sees this guy, Hugh, the guy who owns the house, his business partner. His kid, who I guess, I don't know, whatever age it is, 5 or 6, whatever. He's at the pool, and he's naked, and they see his dick, and Larry's going on and on about how big this kid's dick is, and I don't know how old the kid is. It's like, okay, maybe in this middle of this party where there's like 100 strangers, you don't need to have this kid standing there naked. So that's weird. Also, Larry, you don't need to go on and on about this kid's dick. Anyway, so just bracing y'all for later. You're welcome. Okay, ding, 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 ding. Today's example of Larry David, by law, cannot leave his house without bumping into someone he knows. This is a variation of that, but he's meeting with Richard Lewis, and they're currently trying to get Richard's the blank from hell into Bartlett's quotes. Josiah Bartlett, Martin Sheen quotes. And they're sitting next to some guy, and he just happens to say the lunch from hell. And they're like, oh, where'd you hear that? And he's like, I don't know, some old girlfriend or something. So yeah, it's just fucking maddening. This guy just happens to use the saying to broadcast. Yes, it is a famous saying, and Richard should get credit. It's just fucking maddening. Now, I do feel like, and you dedicated fans can correct me if I'm wrong, although I'm probably not. This season of Xmas Your Enthusiasm will dealt more with that. The whole like Larry's just constantly bumping, these amazing coincidences. And we've dealt less with the whole sometimes it helps just to have a bigger asshole in the room, which I feel like we dealt with a lot more in their first two seasons. Anyway, so. Okay, so now, of course, Larry wants to go up to this guy, Hugh, and talk about his son's dick and how big it is, and on and on and on. And the guy gets upset. Full stop. End of. Larry, no. 0-5. End of. Once again, don't forget this season of Xmas Your Enthusiasm has been brought to you by Pepsi Cola. Pepsi Cola. Just fucking drink it. So now Sherry O'Terry has showed up at Larry's house with her suitcase with no wheels, as she said. Like I said, always welcome, Sherry O'Terry. Of course, she lost her job because of Larry. And she's like, dude, I got no fucking job. I got nowhere to stay. Where am I sleeping tonight? And Cheryl's, of course, pissed that, she's like, she's not fucking staying here. She's crazy. And in Larry's defense, he does feel responsible. And so I have to give him the win for that. Even though he did cause the whole thing, he's trying to do the right thing, I guess. His big idea is to, Jeff and Susie need a nanny. We'll let her be. But I'm like, never occurred to me before. But I'm like, nobody even knows Susie's pregnant. It's still a secret. So she's not showing. So we're talking at least 6 months out, right? 5 months? So what's she going to do? Is she going to be a retainer? Nanny retainer? Can I get that deal? The Manny? Can I get the Manny retainer from somebody? But I'm going to give Larry the win there. His heart's kind of in the right place. Again, even though he caused it, but whatever. We'll give Larry the win there, so he's 1-5 right now. Now Larry and Sherry O'Terry are at this bakery that's going out of business. Larry's buying the last 12 sponge cakes they have. But he sees Sherry O'Terry eating some of the free samples they have. I don't know, cake or cookies, whatever. And he yells at her like, hey, quit eating all the samples. And she's like, fuck you, they're free. And I'm like, fuck you, Larry. She's homeless and starving because you can't piss in a bathroom that other people may have been in. Fuck you. Let her eat the fucking samples. 1-6. And I gotta say, I've said it before about this season. I love Larry's house, the weirdly like mid-90s color to it all, that everything's tan and brown and soft and cozy, unlike the paper, if that's what the office thing is called. And then on the flip side, even though it's not my style, I like the outside of Jeff and Susie's house. It's like super modern. Again, not really my style, but it's cool to look at on a TV screen. Anyway, enough fucking the interior design bullshit from me. All right, so now Larry shows up. He's at the door with Susie. He's like, hey, I got Jeff 12 sponge cakes. He said he loved the sponge cake. They're going out of business. I thought I'd get him. And she just rips him a new one. Why would you do that? Like, he needs to shovel 12 more of these. He's a fat fuck. Her words, not mine. Yada, yada, yada. And she's yelling at Larry, what the fuck am I going to do with these sponge cakes? And, look, this doesn't happen every century, but Larry, I think, was genuinely trying to do a nice thing. Selfless, even, for his buddy. I mean, is it misguided? Probably, maybe. I don't know. But, yeah, come on. You can't bitch anything about that. Give him the win there. 2-6, Larry. Congratulations. 2-6. Okay, I guess I'm letting it all out in this last episode. Now Susie's furious because Sherry O'Terry said, oh, congratulations on being pregnant. And Susie's now screaming at Larry, how could you tell somebody that, it's bad luck, I'm not 3 months pregnant, which works into my 6 months thing from a minute ago. But the first thing Larry said when they showed up was like, hey, Susie, this is Martine, the nanny I called you about. So what did she think that Larry kidnapped Sherry O'Terry and just took the bag off her head when they got out of the car? Or why else would she think this person is showing up at her house if she didn't know it already? What the fuck? Yeah, I don't understand this thing from Susie at all. Why else would Larry be showing up with this nanny he told you about? Anyway, Larry gets that win. This is an example, and I love Susie. And I love her when she's being an asshole. But Larry wins this one. It's funny we just brought it up earlier. Oh, that's me stepping into that Larry David universe of coincidence. Sometimes it just helps to have a bigger asshole in the room. So now Larry 3-6 for the episode. He's crawling back a little bit here. Now Richard finds out he may not get his blank from hell quote in Bartlett's because of Larry, and he's pissed off, and they go back and forth a bit. Sorry, Larry, you screwed the pooch of that one. 3 and 7. But at least it was over some, what I'm guessing is a 7-year-old. At least this is over a 7-year-old kid's dick, Larry. Was it worth it? Congratulations. 3 and 7. All right, so now they're at the screening. It's Richard, Jeff, and Larry. Jeff gets a phone call. Holy shit. And he's yelling at Larry. Turns out the nanny has attacked Susie. And Jeff takes off after bitching at Larry, rightfully so. And Larry just fucking stands there, and he stays at the screening. All he knows is this nanny that he is responsible for giving to Susie, foisting on Susie, really, has attacked Susie, and he's like, I'm cool hanging out here. Let me know if she's okay. He literally has no idea if she's dead or alive. And he's like, let me know if she's okay. I'm going to be at this screening with these fuckwads. Awesome. 3 and 8, Larry. Pitiful. Okay, now they're at the theater, and Larry gets in a verbal altercation with the little kid. You shut up. No, you shut up. I just can't. 3 and 9, Larry. What a tailspin end of the season. All right, so Larry tacks on a dumb argument with the father, so that's another loss. 3 and 10. All right, so that's it for this episode. It ends how it ends. You've seen it. You love it. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Larry goes 3 and 10 for that episode. One last ridiculous thing Larry does, of course, is we see he shows up at Jeff's house the next day. It looks like it's like late morning, midday, and he has no idea if Susie's okay. He's like, I tried to call last night. Like, what kind of shitty best friend is that? Like, you weren't... Number one, he's went to this screening. And, like, he has no idea if she's okay at this point. It's fucking insane. But anyway, here's what's interesting. So Larry finishes the season 61 and 55, so it's another winning campaign for Larry, as I call him. But listen to these scores over the 3 seasons. He went 58 and 51, he went 60 and 51, and now he's gone 61 and 55. Those totals, 109, 111, 116. How crazy consistent are those? It's almost like it's intentional to have that kind of rhythm to these arguments or fights or whatever. Excuse me. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just kind of bullshitting. But it'd be interesting if we find throughout the entire run that they do stay that consistent, which is pretty remarkable. So after 3 seasons, Larry finishes up 179 and 157. So far, we have to say Larry isn't as much of an asshole as people like to think. But anyway, thanks everybody for listening to this season. I've enjoyed it. I hope you have too. I'm looking forward to season 4. I have something on my sleeve. I'm going back and forth if I have the guts to try to pull off. So I'm looking forward to it. We want to thank Pepsi Cola for sponsoring Xmas Your Enthusiasm this season. Pepsi Cola. Last one of the year and I fuck it up. Pepsi Cola. Just fucking drink it. Thanks to everybody for listening. Sherry O'Terry, you're welcome to come on this podcast anytime. Just let me know. And thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you